everyone, me again. If you're new around here, my name's Alice and I make videos all about affordable beauty and fashion. Today I want to try out some new makeup from ELF. I picked these up quite recently, so the first thing I'm going to try out is one of their new Putty Eye Primers. I picked up the shade Rose. This was £5. It's one of those base products for your eyelids. It looks very similar to the Maybelline Color Tattoo. I'm actually hoping it's going to be a dupe for the colour Creme de Rose, which has been discontinued. And I also picked up some of their new teeny tiny little palettes. So these are called the Bitesize Eyeshadow Palettes. I've got two colours here. I've got the Very Bad palette, which is a nice rose toned palette, and then I've also got the much more neutral Cream and Sugar palette. I thought this could be a really nice kind of boring neutral palette to take in my makeup bag when I'm travelling for work. So this is the like fun one, and then this is the boring work one. These were £3 each, which I feel like is a very good price considering how small they are. I think if they were any more expensive than £3, you might order them and then kind of feel a bit ripped off when they arrive and you see how small they actually are. But for £3, I'm very happy. Before I put on my eye makeup, I'm going to put on some under eye masks. I saw Alana Davidson do this in a recent video while she was doing her eye makeup, and it just seemed like a really cool idea, so I'm going to chuck these on today. These are some gold under eye patches. I got these in, I think it was in a body care store ages ago. They were just one of the cheapest ones I could find. Well, this is a look. So let's open up this Putty Eye Primer. Very similar to the Maybelline Color Tattoo and the MAC paint pots. So I'm just going to swatch this and see what it feels like. Texture-wise, it does kind of remind me of the Maybelline Color Tattoo, but it's not as thick. It's definitely a lighter consistency. That might be quite nice. That might make it a lot easier to blend on the eyelid. I'll just do a swatch of it here so that you can see. Yeah, so the colour is pretty much exactly what I was going for. Nice mink colour, very cool toned pink. And I do still have some of the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Creme de Rose as well. Like, there's barely any. I don't know if you can see that, but I've used up quite a lot of this product. I'll do a swatch of that right here so you can compare the colour. Yeah, so this formula is a lot thicker, a lot stiffer. That might be because I've had it for quite a while though. So here's what they both look like. They're incredibly similar. Most people probably won't be able to tell the difference, especially once it's actually on your eye. I'll just get a bit closer for you. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit more clear. These eye masks are so wet, they keep like falling down my face. So the main difference really when I was swatching them was the texture. But anyway, I'm going to chuck this on my eyes now. This isn't really the kind of colour I can blend all the way up to my brow bone. It's a smidge dark for that. So I'm going to put some concealer on my eyelids first and then put the ELF Putty Primer on. For me, that's how I usually apply these little eye base jar product things. So today I'm just going to take a little bit of the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C0.7, and then I'm just going to chuck on some of the Putty Eye Primer. I think I'm just going to use my fingers, or I'm going to try to use my fingers anyway, but I do have another concealer brush on standby if I need it. Okay, so straight away it feels a lot easier to blend on the lid than my Maybelline Color Tattoo. The coverage is really nice as well. It's really like blocking out veins, redness, and we're done. That was really easy. When I saw the name Putty Eye Primer, I was kind of worried that it was going to be like a whipped consistency or that it would be a bit more of a moussey texture, but it's definitely not. It's actually quite stiff, but still blendable enough to just very easily throw on the lid. Yeah, I really like that. The coverage is very impressive for such a lightweight product. I'll just do the other eye. Okay, so I've come a bit closer so that hopefully you can see the colour a bit better, because I'm going to chuck some eyeshadow over the top of this in a minute. But this is how it's looking. It's pretty much exactly what I was after. I know a lot of people don't really do this on YouTube these days, but I actually like to set the lid before I go in with my eyeshadow. I find that it just helps me blend out the colours a bit better. Also, as I'm sure you can see, I have very hooded eyes, and for me it just helps the colour to stick around that little bit longer. I think I'm going to wear a combination of both of these palettes just so I can test them both at the same time. But I do want to swatch them just before I put them on my lids. This is the Cookies and Cream palette. It's got 4 very neutral wearable colours. You've got 2 mattes at either end and then 2 shimmers in the middle. This is the first shade here. It doesn't really show up that much on my skin tone, especially under these studio lights, but it's kind of there. And then we've got the shimmery colour next to it. It maybe feels a little bit powdery when I swatch it, but it still looks really nice. I think I just picked up a little bit too much product with my finger, so I'm gonna try Just not grabbing quite as much for the next shimmer colour. There we go. That's really nice as well. And then there's the darker one at the end. Ooh, that's got some good payoff for such a dark colour. Just get a bit more. There we go. That's a really nice chocolatey colour. So these are like the worst swatches ever, but hopefully they give you an idea of what the palette looks like. And then this is the Berry Bad palette, again with 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. First shade is a nice mauvey matte colour, which maybe doesn't have the best payoff in the world, but let's try building it up a bit. There we go, that's better. Right, we got there in the end. Shimmer right here. It looks a bit warmer swatched than it does in the pan, but it's still a very beautiful colour. And then we've got a raspberry shade next to that. I like that one, that one's really pretty. And then a beautiful matte colour at the end. Maybe not the best payoff in the world, but let's try building it up a bit. And this is what the second palette looks like. So the shade at the end, the darker one, is maybe a little bit patchy, but I have a feeling if I built it up on the lid it would probably be fine. The shimmers look really beautiful. The transition also maybe wasn't the strongest when I swatched it, but I think if I built it up, again, perfectly fine. So for my eyeshadow look today, I think I'm going to try to use both palettes just so I can test them both at the same time. And I'm going to start with the transition shade in the Berry Bad palette, and this is a Real Techniques base shadow brush. So when I swatched this, I didn't think it would perform all that well, but it's going on the lid absolutely fine. I've got a bit of glitter on my eyelid and I don't know where it's come from, but I can't get it off. I am dipping in my palette quite a lot just to keep the colour looking consistent. I personally don't really mind that. It all looks fine. I'm going back in with that palette with the same brush and I'm just going to get the teeniest bit of that matte shade at the end. And I'm just going to tap this here. I've only got a little bit on the brush because I know how pigmented it is, and I'm just going to try to really blend that in. It does look quite patchy at first, but the more you blend it, the better. And again, my eye masks are falling down. I'm going to take that raspberry colour now, and I'm using a Real Techniques shading brush, just tapping off some excess. Looks like there's quite a bit on the brush, and then that's just going on the outer part of the lid like this. I'm not seeing a massive amount of shimmer when I use my brush. I'm going to put another shimmer shade over like the rest of the lid. I think I'll do that with my finger. It looks like with a brush you don't get like the best possible finish. I probably would if I wet it, then I'm going to find it more difficult to blend it with the other shimmer shade that I'll use in a moment. And then I'm dipping into the Cream and Sugar palette and I'm taking the lighter gold shimmer, and that's going to go over my lid with my finger. I don't want to do a cut crease or anything just because I want to do a wear test for the Putty Eye Primer, and I'm worried if I do a cut crease and I have too many layers that will kind of disturb the makeup and just not give me a fair result for my wear test. So I'm just going to go straight in with my finger. This shade is quite powdery. I find it's quite difficult to not pick up quite a lot of product with my finger. I'm just going to tap this on and then I'll probably tidy it up with a brush. So this one is looking a lot more shimmery than the other shade. Just going to tidy up that raspberry shade just a little bit more. And then I'm going to use this dark shade right here as an eyeliner. So I'm going to take an angled brush and just try to line my eyes with it. I've been doing that a lot recently. I don't wear a lot of actual eyeliner anymore. I feel like I did have to build up that brown shade a little bit more than I normally would with like a Revolution eyeshadow palette, for example. But after layering it a bit, I did get a good result. I'm just going to take off these eye masks and come a bit closer and show you the final look. So this is what the eyeshadow looks like. I'm going to have to blend out the edges a little bit. They're looking quite harsh just because of the under eye mask. I'm probably also going to tidy up the eyeliner and add a little bit of kohl liner just to smooth out the line a bit, but I'm quite happy with it. I don't think they were the best matte eyeshadows I've ever used in my life, but with a little bit of blending I've managed to get a pretty good result. I'm just going to hop off camera now and finish the look. I'm going to tidy up the eyeliner a bit, put on some lashes and do my face makeup as well, and then I'll be right back and I can give you my final thoughts. Okay, so the rest of my makeup is on. I did kind of change the eye look a little bit while I was doing the rest of my face. I went over my lid with the other shade in the Cream and Sugar palette. I felt like this one here just had a bit too much of a reflect to it and it was just a bit lighter than I wanted. So I went in with that one. I just tapped it over the top. I didn't take off any excess eyeshadow first. I didn't do a cut crease, nothing like that. I just put it directly over the top of the other one and that was fine, and it kind of ties the look together a bit more in my opinion. And then I used the earlier golden shade in the inner corner as a little highlight. I never really do anything too fancy to the lower part of my eyes. I just went in with the same berry transition shade that we used earlier and just used that underneath. One thing I do want to mention, you can probably see it from over there, but I did notice that this berry colour had a small crack in it just while I was doing that lower part of my lid. I haven't dropped these eyeshadows. I am quite clumsy and I am prone to dropping my makeup, but I haven't dropped this yet. So the crack was there, and now that I'm showing it you now, a little bit of that eyeshadow has actually fallen out of the pan. So I don't know, that might just be like a one-off thing. Maybe this one just wasn't pressed properly. I don't really know how it works. Or maybe it just had a bit of a rough ride over here when it was shipped. I don't know. But I did just want to mention that. I mean, first of all, you can see it anyway, so it'd be weird to not mention it. And it hasn't happened with any other shade. It's just that one. So it might just be bad luck, but I did just want to bring it up. So let's talk about the little palettes first. I thought they were nice. I don't think they're the best eyeshadow formulas that I've ever tried, especially the matte shades. But for the price, I think they worked absolutely fine. I think makeup beginners will really enjoy them. I think people who maybe don't have a lot of money to spend on eyeshadow palettes will really enjoy them. For me, I got them more for traveling. I don't like the idea of taking a huge eyeshadow palette with me when I know that I'm only going to use maybe 3 or 4 shades maximum, because they take up quite a lot of space and they're also fairly fragile as well. I'm probably going to just put one of them in my makeup bag and just have it for touch-ups when I'm out and about. I have hooded eyes. My eyes eat makeup quite quickly, so it'll be nice just having a very small selection of colours just to touch up my look as and when I can. I think the price is absolutely perfect for £3. Keep in mind, for £5 you can go to Revolution and get one of their reloaded palettes, and those come with 15 shades. They're significantly bigger. You're getting a lot more product for your money. So I feel like if these were more than £3, I think a lot of people would feel a bit ripped off, but they got the pricing absolutely perfect. I think the real star of the show though is this Putty Eye Primer. So obviously I have only just put this on and I don't know how this is going to wear for the rest of the day, but so far it's looking pretty good. My eyeshadow hasn't moved at all while I was doing the rest of my makeup. I don't normally do wear tests on my eyes for like any kind of eye makeup because I have hooded eyes and there's absolutely no point. No matter how much I prep and prime this area, my makeup is going to disappear during the day. It would be impossible not to because of how much of a hood I have. But I was thinking I could check in this evening and we can see how it looks, and I can definitely tell you if it looks any worse than usual. Very pleased with everything so far. Really like how everything's looking. I'll come back and check in a bit later and we'll see how much eyeshadow is still on my eyes. Okay, so it's the evening now and I've had this eye makeup on for about 5 hours. You can tell that some time has passed because my lipstick has just completely gone. My foundation hasn't held up massively well, but my eyes don't look massively different to how they did 5 hours ago, which for me is a huge surprise. So I have hooded eyes, like I've been saying throughout this entire video. I fully expect my eyeshadow to completely disappear in a couple of hours normally, but it's been 5 and there's a bit of like very minor creasing going on, don't get me wrong, but it's mostly fine. It's looking a lot better than it normally does. It's held up a lot better, and I think that's largely to do with the eye primer. I know that it comes in a few other colours as well, so I'm quite tempted to pick up some other shades at some point, we'll see. But I have a feeling that I've stumbled across a new holy grail for me. This is definitely going to replace my Maybelline Color Tattoo. So those are all my thoughts and opinions on the new ELF products. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and hanging out with me today. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up and let me know. And if you're new around here, you can consider subscribing. I'm posting twice a week at the moment, and I'm hoping all my current subscribers are enjoying seeing more uploads from me as well. It's been a bit difficult to keep doing this because I work full time, but I'm really enjoying it. I upload on Wednesdays and Sundays at 9 AM, so I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye!